There are many ways to play Rummy, and in this video we'll be covering 3 ways to play with 2 players: Summer Camp Rummy, Knock Rummy, and Gin Rummy. The main mechanic in a game of Rummy is making melds, or as I've come to know them, sets and runs. A set is a collection of 3 or more of the same card, such as in this example, 3 kings. Runs are at least 3 cards of the same suit that go up in sequence. Here we have a run of clubs going from 4 to 7. So to start a round of Summer Camp Rummy, both players are dealt 7 cards. The dealer then deals 1 extra card to their opponent and sets the rest of the deck in the middle as a draw pile. After looking through their cards and sorting them into potential melds, the other player then discards any 1 card they like. They place this card next to the draw pile, and this starts the discard pile. Then the round truly begins. On a player's turn, they first draw a card from either the draw pile or the discard pile, and then they discard a card. As you can see, we have 2 kings in our hand, and the other player discarded another king. So we'll draw that into our hand to make a meld of 3 kings, and then we'll discard a card we don't need, like this 8. The objective for the round is to be the first to have nothing but melds in your hand. Once a player does this, they go out, meaning they lay down their cards. That's the end of this round. For example, in this case, the dealer has a set of 2s and a set of 7s. Then they discard the 6. Once a player goes out like this, the other player lays down their hand, and the values of the cards not in a meld, known as deadwood, are added up. In this case, we have 3 3s and 3 kings, with only an ace left over. I guess this is a good time to talk about scoring. Number cards are worth as much as the number they have on them. Face cards, king, queens, and jacks, are all worth 10 points. And aces are always worth 1 point. This makes them good cards to hold on to when waiting for the perfect card to finish out a meld. So in this case, the dealer only gets 1 point this round. First player to 100 points wins the game. Alright, so that's the basic idea. Let's move on to Knock Rummy. There are 2 main differences in this version. For one thing, the players are dealt 10 cards instead of 7. Secondly, a player can knock on their turn. Knocking is when you lay down cards to end the round, but you still have deadwood left in your hand. You can only knock when the total of deadwood points in your hand is 10 or less. Once a player knocks, the other player answers by laying down their hand and counting up their deadwood points. The knocking player then subtracts their own deadwood points from the answering player's deadwood points, and the difference is the total points earned. In this case, we knocked with 6 points of deadwood, and our opponent has 10 points, which means we win 4 points. But let's say that instead of a king, our opponent had a 3 instead. That would mean, though we knocked, because our opponent had less than we did, they undercut us and gained the difference instead. We had 6, they had 3. They get 3 points for this round. If you manage to go out clean, meaning all of the cards you lay down are in a meld, in addition to the regular points from your opponent's cards, you also earn a 25-point bonus. Again, first player to 100 points wins. Now on to the one you've probably heard of, Gin Rummy. This version is much like the last, except when a player has to lay down their hand in response to another player knocking, they have the option to try and play the deadwood in their hand off of the knocking player's melds. In this example, we knock with a total of 9 points of deadwood. Our opponent would be in trouble, except they can play their 4 and 5 of spades on our run, as well as a 4 of diamonds on the other run, leaving them with just 7, undercutting us by 2 points. Dang it. The only way to stop an opponent from doing this is by going out clean. In other words, calling gin, which gives us that 25-point bonus just like last game. First player to 100 points, yeah, you know the rest. So those are a few ways to play Rummy. There are many other versions that go by the same names as these, and if you play a little differently, be sure to tell me about it in the comments. And until next time, this is Hogwash, over and out. Catch you later.